AITA for skipping my friend's birthday without warning because his GF calls me the typical GBF? Miles and I have known each other since we were 2 because our parents are best friends. Now I would not say Miles is my best friend. He is a good friend and we do hang out on occasion but see each other on all major holidays because of our parents. We are in our early 20s. The problem started because of a dumb childhood memory. When we were 8, we had a wedding play on school after care. I played the bride and Miles the groom. It was a play with horrible songs and uncoordinated kids. OBS, our parents made pictures and videos of that. And we each have one picture on our family picture walls. Miles is dating Lindy. They met 3 years ago and started dating last year. Lindy does not like me. So every time we coincide at a celebration, she makes a comment about me being the typical girl best friend. She one time said that I secretly wanted to sleep with Miles. I have no clue where she got that impression from. Miles and I have different friend groups and schedules. Besides the monthly catch-up over food, we didn't really meet that much. Things got worse when Lindy saw the wedding play picture. The comments just got more. She even started DMing me on Instagram saying she knew what game I was playing. I talked to Miles once about this and he told me to give her time. So his birthday was on Saturday and I was invited. Lindy wrote me saying something along the lines that she was going to supervise me. This was their first birthday as a couple, and I was not allowed to take up his time. I was honestly just fed up. I tried talking to Miles once more but he said the same thing. So I just skipped out. When the party started I wrote a quick sorry I can't come and told him my mother was going to bring his present. Now he is upset with me for missing his birthday. Lindy is mad that I made it all about myself, and my parents are upset I missed a family function. Edit. I didn't show anyone the messages because it didn't want to make more out of this than it is. I didn't want to poison anyone against Lindy, especially not if she is a new fixture in Miles' life. That would make both our lives more difficult. I hope that just talking about it might be the more adult thing. My parents are not mad at me or blowing up my phone. All a Reddit fashion. They and Miles' parents were just bummed out that this was the first birthday that I ever missed. As to why she is jealous, I have no idea. Neither of our parents ever wanted us to get together. There were no jokes or anything about it. I think they also never would want that. The wedding play picture is in the living rooms because they loved the picture and it was our first play. Update. After my post I talked to Miles. First he was kind of mad and thought I had been blowing things out of proportion. Some more details are in my last post. We came to the conclusion of taking more distance while he figures that all out. Mainly because I did not want the added stress of petty drama. Then I talked to my parents and explained to them what was going on. They were really upset by how Lindy treated me. Obviously they weren't going to get involved but it was nice to get that off my chest. Then nothing else happened. Until Tuesday evening. Wednesday was a holiday, so some of my friends took the opportunity to go to an Irish pub to do karaoke. At some point my best friend and I went to pee and touch up our makeup. Then Lindy and some of her friends walked in and kind of cornered us. It wasn't pretty. They stared loudly talking about man-stealing bitches, and how some women were just born to be homewreckers. And imagine being pathetic enough to pretend to be a guy's friend to F him and how pick-me's are the worst. They kept kind of edging us physically into the part where the hand dryers were while pretending we were not there. Until my best friend had enough and just pushed through them while puling me behind her. We were almost at our table when Lindy went right behind me and pulled my hair, so that I fell backward onto like a metallic piece where you were supposed to put your feet on. It hurt so bad that I started to see white. And then a girl next to Lindy poured beer on me. I cannot really tell you what happened, but there was a scuffle, and someone dropped one of those heavy pint glasses on my head. The Lindys were taken away by police and I was taken to the hospital. My parents were furious as were Miles' parents. They both came to the hospital. I was severely concussed, my nose was fractured, and the worst thing is that I have a hairline fracture in my back. I stayed in the hospital till yesterday morning. Miles did try calling me a bunch. According to my parents, they told him not to visit me right now. I did get an official notice saying that apparently there was now a legal case open against Lindy and one other girl for not only assault but also public disturbance in the bar. So now I'll have to deal with all that legally. I finally talked to Miles. And long story short, those of you saying Lindy was isolating him was a sign that an abusive relationship was right. He told me all the things she said to him to make him feel awful. She would freak out about anything in her life and take that out on him. She would scratch him and bite him when she was mad. Our talk ended with both of us crying and apologizing. We will be closer again. At least we can talk about these things more often. He broke up with her and is hiding at my parents' house. So that is it for now. Update 2. There has been an official court date set for my process against Lindy. It took 2 months to get and is another 3 months out, but something is something. Our lawyer said that Lindy is probably not going to jail, as she is a first-time offender. If she goes to jail it would be no more than 3 months. Most likely she is going to have to pay a fee of 100 days of her income or something like that. I have let my father deal with this 100% because I have no head for it. There is a second lawsuit going on at the same time as now I am legally chronically ill. The hairline fracture was not a passing thing but developed. I am daily in pain. Not every day is bad, but not a day passes where I am not in at least a 2 on the pain scale. As a result, I have not been able to work. Right now my insurance pays 75% of my former income, and my workplace covers the rest. But I am probably going to get fired. So my insurance filed a claim against Lindy to pay my lost wages. I am right now not in contact with Miles. I tried to be supportive, but being disabled by his jealous ex-girlfriend made me bitter against him. He was a victim. But now I can't live my life. And I blame him partly for that. I am in therapy to work through all of that and have taken up some new hobbies. I have started to write more and am looking into courses or online classes. Miles' parents have been apologetic and have supported me a lot. His mother had been a saint. She volunteered to drive me everywhere, and I have actually become friends with her. We even went to see Deadpool and Wolverine. She is so we have a lot of time. One of Lindy's friends reached out through my lawyer, offering a testimony against her own friend. She also sent a letter apologizing. To make it short, Lindy had told them I was bullying her, and that Miles had once already cheated on her with me. So that's where we are right now. Take care and shield your back. Update 3. Hi everyone. Things have finally settled enough for me to share an update. The court case is over. Lindy was sentenced to actual prison time, and none of it is suspended. She also has to pay restitution for my medical expenses, lost wages, and pain and suffering. The court didn't miss a thing. They went through all the evidence, the testimonies, and even the messages, and it was clear who was at fault. I cannot tell you how much of a relief it is. During the trial, Lindy claimed I had been bullying her, and that I planned the pub incident to ambush her in the bathroom where there were no cameras. She said I struck first. 2 of her friends backed her up, but the third one, who was also part of the attack, ended up telling the truth to avoid harsher punishment. It was obvious their stories didn't line up, and when the outside CCTV footage and witnesses from the pub were brought in, her whole narrative fell apart. The court didn't buy it, especially with all the messages Lindy had sent me before the incident. She could not explain why someone supposedly bullying her would also be the one receiving threats from her. It also came out that Lindy and her new boyfriend had been intimidating witnesses. He even messaged me on Instagram trying to get me to say something incriminating or admit to something I didn't do. At first I didn't realize who it was, so I replied briefly, but once I figured it out, I stopped immediately. Thankfully, I had already handed over everything to my lawyer, so it was documented. Watching her lawyer try to frame her actions as acting out under stress, while knowing she was tampering with the case, was surreal. There was a moment outside the courtroom where my parents and Lindy's parents talked. It wasn't an argument, but it was uncomfortable. My parents pointed out how everything presented in court made it clear what Lindy had done. Lindy's parents didn't argue back, but they seemed completely out of their depth. They mentioned being shocked by how much she had escalated things and admitted they hadn't understood how serious it was. They've taken on the financial burden of her restitution, which means I know the money for everything will come through. It's hard to say if they are doing it out of guilt or to protect their image, but either way, it is one less thing for me to worry about. Adjusting to my new normal has been a mixed bag. The chronic pain is still there, and my surgery isn't happening for a few more months. I've also been dealing with the endless back and forth of German bureaucracy. My insurance keeps sending letters asking, "Hey, you still disabled LOL?" As if chronic pain and an unhealed fracture could magically fix themselves. Every time I think I'm done explaining my situation, they send me another form to fill out. It's exhausting, but my doctors have been really supportive and always help me get the paperwork sorted. Some days are harder than others, and there are moments when I feel sad about how much my life has changed. A few months ago, I was stuck in that sadness, angry all the time, and constantly thinking about how unfair this all is. I think I was grieving the life I thought I would have. Now, though, I have accepted that this is my life, and even if I never fully heal, I know I'll manage. I'm not letting Lindy take up any more space in my head than she already has. I've started focusing on things that make me happy again. My friends and I started a Dungeons & Dragons campaign, and they come over to my place to play. They're so patient when I need breaks or when the pain gets bad. Through that group, I met someone. At first, I was nervous about getting close to him because I thought he might see my situation as too much to deal with, but he's been amazing. He drives me to appointments, brings me groceries once a week, and has never made me feel like a burden. I'm falling in love with him, and for the first time in a while, I feel hopeful. I've also been keeping my mind busy with the courses and finally rewatched all of How I Met Your Mother. Sometimes I catch myself comparing my old life to this one, and it makes me sad, but I don't stay in that feeling as long as I used to. I've started finding a balance between moving forward and letting myself feel everything that comes with this new chapter. I've distanced myself from Miles' parents. They were wonderful to me, but I realized he needs their support now more than I do, and it should be undivided. I still don't know if I can forgive him. To this day, I haven't. Thank you to everyone who has supported me through all of this. It has been a long road, but I finally feel like I'm on the other side of it. Take care of yourselves and hold on to the people who make your life lighter. They make all the difference.